So, leaving work a little early, hopefully to go pick up a car. I go grab my friend in his trailer. He's kind of the one coordinating this whole deal going down. It's a car that I'm really looking forward to getting started on. Had one before and never really got to do anything with it. So, excited to, make something happen with this one. So I'm going to cut now to talking about what kind of engine I'm going to put in it. What my idea and thought process was behind it. And then we'll pick this back up, hopefully when we have the car. I went and got the car. I'm pretty stoked. It is a 325 IS. All the usual rust, a little bit here, a little bit there. It didn't look like there was too much in the trunk. The core support's been replaced. Looks kind of, it's done. It's got a diff in it, and a little bit, most of the interior's there. It's got a driver's seat, but yeah, should be fun to put this thing together. So I'll pick up whenever we get this off the trailer, kind of walk around it. So for the engine choice, I had a K24Z that I bought that's been sitting around for a few years. Just waiting for a project to put it in. Putting it in the e30 was one of my first choices. I want to do an NA build. K24s, light, makes good power NA. But this is a Z, so it has the head with the integrated manifold. Not really what I want stylistically. I kind of want to build a big fancy header setup or buy one. And to add to that, putting the K24 in the car, just getting the engine to sit in the car would have been really expensive. Started doing the math, and it would have been easily over $3,000 buying a pan, trans adapter, mounts, all the stuff to make a K24 fit in a rear-wheel drive platform. So I kind of nixed that idea. I didn't really want to spend that much just to be able to put an engine in the car and look at it. So I came to this. This is my M52 TU. It's basically an M54. It's the stock engine out of my E46. I actually pulled this one to put the M50 in it. It is a running engine. Has been sitting for a while. It'll need cleaned up. I haven't even checked to see if it turns over yet. But really all I need to put that in the E30 is a E34 oil pan. I have E36 engine mounts, which is what you need. So I need to get that oil pan, the whole front sump set up. I need to buy a clutch. I have a gearbox. I have a G220 that I'm going to use. It's not the best one, but it'll work for what I want. This is still going to be an NA build. I want to do NA. I want ITBs. I've looked at it running an M52, M54, and an E30 on a stock ECU. Well, if it's the M52 with an M4 or a MS42, you can still run cable throttle, but you have to run. You have to take all the wiring from an E46, for EWS and all that. I don't really want to pull all that out of my car. So that leaves us going standalone. So it'll be more expensive than a straight up, just stock ECU M52 swap. But I want to be able to do ITBs on it. I want, standalone ITBs, basic NA build. Obviously I have to put headers on it for putting it in the E30. I'll probably convert, because these have electric thermostats, I'll probably convert it to a mechanical thermostat. But yeah, that to just drop the engine in the car, that engine will be maybe $1,000 with the oil pan and sump and clutch. That'll get the engine and the transmission in the car, and then we can start working around it, buying like an ECU and doing wiring and fitting up ITBs. So that was the choice I came to be able to put this car together relatively quick and, you know, within some kind of budget. And to add to this, I sold this engine for $300, and it sat around. After I sold it for a few years, the kid that bought it from me was going to put it in his car, or his E46, to get his car running. And then I guess he gave up on that, and it stayed at a shop that I worked at for a little bit. And then that guy messaged me and said he's got an engine for me, which it turned out to be this one. So this engine, I basically got paid $300 to take it. The G220 that I'm going to use for a gearbox in the car, I got for free in the cars. So, you know, with how cheap I was able to get everything, this engine, the free gearbox, the free car, that engine, gearbox, that whole drivetrain kind of seemed like the obvious choice. As much as I wanted to do the K24, this will just be a lot easier, cheaper. So that's where I'm at with this. Probably won't be putting any like update videos out on the car anytime soon. Got to start sourcing parts for it. Once I start getting parts and things start going on with it, I'll try and video some stuff and put that out. All right, I know it's been a while. Trying to be a little better about recording things, especially building this new car. I know as of the last video, I had talked about selling the K24 I had to put an M52 TU, basically an M54, in the car, just because it fit what I wanted from the car a little better and wasn't going to cost as much as the K24 swap would have. Well, I abandoned that. Kind of weighed out everything I wanted from the car, and decided that an S54 would kind of best fit what I want. It's got ITBs from factory. I can run it on a stock ECU, so it maintains a little reliability. It is expensive. Managed to find a deal on one. However, while we were pulling it apart, just to look at everything, all 6 rods were burnt. The engine was sold as running, so it kind of sucked. But I kind of weighed the options of everything out there and bought max speeding eBay rods. Not super worried about it. The car is going to be NA, make stock power, so the rods are just replacements. So now let's get over to my friend's house where I've got the car and the engine stored, put the bottom end together. That way, when we get the head back, we can assemble the engine and have it ready to go in the car. So let's get over there and I'll pick this back up. So I was rewatching some clips, trying to like put together this video of introducing this car, kind of the engine choices and everything, and just how it all worked out. In doing so, I realized I didn't really do too good of a job of like keeping that all up to date. I kind of wanted to get the car built in the background and then start uploading all the videos of documenting the process. As of the last clip, I had picked up an S54 to put in here. I gave up on that. I still have the S54. I'm trying to sell it at this point. It just became a little too involved in the process of it. Realized the bottom end was burnt, replaced everything. Block's been redone, crank's been redone, head's been redone. Like, it's an entirely rebuilt engine. Still needs assembled, and the cost factor of putting an S54 in this car just became a bit overwhelming. So, with all that in mind, I picked up a M20 from my friend. It is a stroker with an M54 crank. To our knowledge, it has M52 pistons, and it's got an Ireland Engineering reground cam. It's in the car, it runs and drives. The videos I have, I'm gonna do the best I can to show the process of putting this thing together. I have some bigger milestone videos. I think I didn't really do too great of a job, but this is closing out that video. All those videos are still to come, kind of a weird timeline of things. But I also realized I never really walked around the car. Here it is as it sits now. When I got it, it didn't have a front valence. It had a core support on it, but we found a bunch of damage. Let me get the hood off real quick and I'll show kind of some of all of what I'm talking about. So, as you can see, that's still the red that the car came in. This is all a different color. You can see a huge weld seam here. This is probably all, seam sealer at this point. This is kind of what pushed me away from the S54, was sinking a bunch of money into an engine and putting it in a car that's not straight. I couldn't put the sway bar relocations on because it has a convertible frame rail. So what I believe happened is the whole car got, the whole front end got pushed in, because there's damage also on that side. So I believe they just cut it off maybe after the strut tower, and put a convertible section in. So that side, the passenger side, is pretty straight, because they replaced it. The driver's side, however, you can't see it because I have the fender on it. Behind the fender, I think you can see it here, there's a bit of a crease there. It's creased in the fender behind the wheel, and it's kind of creased here. So that tells you the whole thing got pushed back. The strut tower is about, I think, an inch or 3/4 of an inch over. I believe this frame rail, the driver's side, I believe it is, as you can see, because the valence won't go over it, it's in a little bit, or the passenger side is in a little bit. With all the damage on the driver's side, I'd be led to believe that it's in the driver's side. So the plan is, we'll tube front it, tying off the strut towers. We're going to try and straighten up the strut towers a little bit, straighten up the frame rail, run a tube front, mount everything, not to OEM spec, but to where it's straight enough. So yeah, it's getting there. Like I said, it runs and drives now. The M20 is in. I still need to put power steering on it. Once we put the core support on, I'll be able to put a radiator in. I'm doing an M42 radiator. But yeah, so that's all done. And then here, otherwise, the car is pretty straight. The reason it sits so high in the rear right now is I put the DTM adjusters in from MRT. And I didn't read in the fine print, because I bought them on a group buy, I didn't read in the fine print that you have to notch the frame. So until we notch the frame, these arms are bottomed out, and that's as high as the rear sits. The front was lower. I raised it up a bunch so we can move the car. There's some rust on this taillight, rust in the quarter panel down there. Some more rust in this taillight. Not as bad. I have cutouts, so I can replace those. Of course, there's some rust here. Pretty common around the antenna. There's a little bit of rust in the roof. Nothing too crazy, which is refreshing. We should just be able to knock that down and do like Bondo or something, basically like a metal to metal. And then there's a little bit at this windshield corner. Nothing too substantial that I'm worried about. Put like a conversion on it. This fender still doesn't line up at all. I think I'm gonna have to take some material out of the back of the fender. And then there's a little dent right there, but otherwise that's pretty much it. And for a free shell, it's not too bad. It's finally almost there. As I've said in another video that'll come out after this one, I was trying to get it done before my birthday. we've got a couple more weeks to make that, so I think it should be doable. I still need rear brake lines. The fronts are pretty much done. I'm waiting on one fitting to come off the master. And then we got to build an exhaust for it. I've got eBay headers in it. And yeah, the interior is mostly all there. I have everything to put this back together, well, most of it. I accidentally put a late model heater in here, so I need to get an early model harness, pull the dash back out, swap that. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, I bought a seat bracket. I'll upload a video of installing that. And then I put back seats in. I still need a passenger seat. And then I gotta finish up this carpet. This is the replacement carpet that came with the car. And I mean, with the status of this car, I don't really feel like buying an OEM carpet. So yeah, this is to wrap up, you know, this like introduction video. At this point, it almost feels like a like more of an introduction summary video. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out. And you know, as I said, you'll see kind of everything that I was able to film putting this car together, uploaded, and then once we get it up to the shop and kind of get everything done on it, I'll do a walkthrough under the car and just kind of show what all we did, because it is I put a 6-speed in it behind the M20, so I'll kind of show everything we did to do that. And yeah, thanks.